So we're getting more information that the bank coin companies, because they're specifically talking about Ripple, XRP. They even mentioned others. I believe they mentioned Stellar and someone else. But the mainstream legacy system companies are acknowledging that DLT is taking over, blockchain is taking over. But I don't think people needed them to say that. I don't. And is it a surprise that they're talking about those companies? No, because if you remember years ago, companies like MasterCard have dealt with Ripple before to some capacity. MasterCard, Visa has dealt with Stellar before, so although there's been lulls in activity, this is nothing new to them. This is nothing new to us who've been here for a long time. Now, does that lend any more weight to, because they're mixing the information in here. Somehow they believe this is adding to speculation about, Ripple or working with Swift or XRP being used by Swift. I don't think so at all. I think that's completely separate. But what I take from articles like this is that it's undeniable now. They can talk about it out loud now, right? They're saying the quiet part out loud a lot and very loudly, that DLT is taking over. Blockchain is taking over. Crypto is going mainstream. You cannot separate the native cryptos from the DLT. Can't do that. That's not going to work. Now, if you build a chain where that particular quintessential element is not there, okay, that's one thing, but that's not what we have right now. What we have right now are systems where everything that touches those chains, like David Schwartz clarified for us, everything that touches those chains is going to have an effect on the native token, on the native crypto, XRP, etc. So as the technology is taking off and being utilized, this is major, right? So that's what they're really looking at. They're saying to themselves, okay, it's here. Let's give our opinion on it. This is their way of having a little bit of control over something they really can't control. But that's how I'm looking at this. It's just acknowledgement. Now, what Ripple is doing is what people need to pay attention to when they say we're going to be acquiring companies. That's what our focus is. That means what? They're trying to accumulate power toward what end? So they say that at the same time, we always get these statements. Not always, but lately we've been getting these statements from Brad Garlinghouse, where sometimes directly he's just saying, yes, we're going to put, it's either him or some representative. Just you do your own research, saying, yes, we're going to put XRP out there first, right? It's XRP, then there's RLUSD. So they're reminding the people quite often that XRP's number one in their eyes. They're going to push it. But I do like the fact that with this is coming from, allegedly, according to these articles, a new report from MasterCard. They were talking about certain things. That's where I'm building all these thoughts from. But what was interesting about this is that I like it that they were highlighting SBI and SBI's functions as far as cross-border payments. And of course, SBI is using XRP. SBI has stated that they want to find ways, which is interesting. I haven't heard anything yet. Have you? An update on how they intended to increase the value that their customers were going to be able to make from XRP, from holding XRP. So they said that. So we're still waiting to hear something on that. That could be something major. That could be very interesting in the future. As we know, there's certain mechanisms that were being built in certain companies that were trying to build things where you could make passive income with XRP, as far as like staking and delegating, things like that. Once again, do your own research on that, right? But so that's there. But I thought that was interesting for them to highlight SBI. I think SBI is going to play a major role for sure, especially if you look at what's going on with like Japan and, those regions like in the Philippines. They have corridors there. SBI is heavy over there. Ripple is heavy also. Let me not leave them out. Ripple is heavy also. So that could be something. And they're very serious about this. It's one of two things. SBI and Ripple are putting the pressure on all of the cross-border payments, legacy system dominant platforms. So they either want them to bend the knee because they're not going to be able to compete with the XRPL. They're not, folks. In my humble opinion, you could disagree. I'm not going to argue with you, but they're not going to be able to compete with this system. Look how rapidly. We still have a few more steps to go before we're completely unleashed, but look how rapidly we're integrating into systems. One, being requested to be integrated by with systems. Two, I hope I said that correctly. There's no way that money is going to come flooding in. The power grab is unbelievable. The positioning is so dominant. The legacy system is either going to have to bend the knee and be absorbed, and that's what's happening. That's why they're talking about it. They're going to be absorbed, or they're going to be replaced completely. There's one way or the other. Right now, they're just trying to decide which way they want to concede. In other words, that's all there is left. And everyone knows that there's going to be, let me not say everyone. That's just how I speak. But many, many people know that there's going to be an explosion in price. That's why they're holding. It's like those articles that we read these past few days. If you didn't see those past few videos, just go scan through there real quick. Scan through those videos real quick. And you'll get the gist of it. But especially, I think it was yesterday's video where we read another article where it shows that the big money is holding. Why? They're not holding to lose money. No, they're holding under the belief that that these things are going to skyrocket. Once again, another thing I want to highlight before I move on from this article here. Another thing I want to highlight, look how dominant crypto has been, both with the, I'll say medium and small size media is increased dramatically, the coverage, positive coverage of crypto. I pay attention to that. That's significant. We've been getting these trickles into mainstream media now, because and I like it that big companies are doing interviews. That's great. Garland House, keep doing that. And everyone else, do that. Do interviews. That's been very positive and good as well. There's been an uptick in that. All strategic, not just, look, things can happen and that doesn't need to be there. But it's happening simultaneously with the positive regulations and legislation that's been happening across the globe with crypto. That's significant. There's a reason for that. All right. And I'm saying that because this is before a true mainstream push. I don't think that this is clearly this is not the true mainstream push. When it happens, it will dominate all news cycles. It will have a major impact, and you will see retail. So they've been reporting retail walking away from crypto. That's what they say, folks. Retail has been walking away, and the big money companies have been stepping in, buying up crypto. Once again, if you watched that video from yesterday, they gave you a percentage and everything. That it was massive how much they were companies had bought up the majority of Bitcoin this year that had been mined. If that doesn't tell you a lot, I don't know what will. So, but nevertheless, you would see more activity of retail coming in rather than going out. Retail is moved heavily by news, especially their mainstream news. They believe they believe in the mainstream news. They follow it. Some people religiously. So if the mainstream says get into Bitcoin, get into crypto, then they would. They haven't yet. So that's something else I'm keeping in mind. But things are looking really good even without that. That was my original point. It's doing really good even without that. So how much better will it do once that does indeed occur? I hope that hopefully that I stated that clear enough. Look, things are looking really good. Now with Swift, I think what you're really going to have to watch, number one, watch any new developments and activities with Swift. 1, 2, watch what Ripple is going to be doing. Ripple is putting their chess pieces in play. All right. Hidden Road, the custodying thing that they purchased a year ago, or was it a year and a half ago? They're getting their pieces in order. And those 3 to 4 years where they were building all around the world, that was very, very strategic. So when they're ready to snap their finger and say, hey, we want to, what do they call that? Flip the switch. We want to flip the switch. I know they don't mean it in the way that I'm about to use it, but I'm going to use it anyway. They flip the switch. All these different banks come online, which once again, we read professional companies, articles right here. We read professional companies state that the systems, just like I thought, work best when you have a whole heap of these institutions utilizing the system at the same time. Otherwise, if you only have one using it, 2, 3, 4, 5 using it, what's the benefit? No, the greatest benefit is when you have hundreds upon hundreds of these institutions, banks, using the system at the same time, right? That's where the real benefit comes in. You have a real network, all right? The prices plummet. Now with the, what do you call that? with the advanced mechanisms. Well, there was a name for it. What was that one I used to reference all the time? What was that one? It's you can learn about all these mechanisms on I think it was xrpl.org. Is that what it's called? But the XRPL website, you can learn about all of this stuff. I encourage everyone to go there and read everything that you can find on the XRPL's website. But it was something payment channels. Now that's a nomenclature for a very, very specific mechanism on XRPL, where if there's more activity, more bank activities, the price goes even lower. You think they don't want that? Of course they do. So the more banks you have using the system, the cheaper it is for them. Not only that, but they claimed, I don't work for the XRPL. I don't know. I didn't build it. But they claim that transactions, actually, the more you have, more systems, banks you have using the system, transactions actually move faster with payment channels mechanism. And they'll probably change the name of it. Maybe they even change the name of it. I don't know. You know, the XRPL and Ripple, they change things often. They do. But that mechanism should remain. So that's another advantage that they have. I beg your pardon. So now let's move on here. It felt good going through. I like articles like that where it's throwing a bunch of information at me and I'm ripping it apart. I'm trying to understand it. I like that. I like that a lot. I like my mind to work. I even do like some of those number puzzles, stuff like that. And yeah, I like things that give me a challenge. I'm just going to keep it real with you. It has to give me a challenge. And I don't like to be bored with easy things. I just don't. So now we're going to get onto a little bit of Bitcoin news here. So this article is titled Bitcoin Bros at, quote, the club may stop U.S. government from buying Bitcoin. This is coming from Arthur Hayes. Of course, this is just an opinion. Arthur Hayes doubts the U.S. government would print money to buy Bitcoin, while the, quote, popular narrative, unquote, paints Bitcoin bros partying in nightclubs. No, I disagree with that 100%. I don't think they care. Like, what, the U.S. government? I don't think they care at all. You know how many people are... they have gold, right? There's a lot of influencers across a bevy of social media that promote gold, and they're showing off their gold coins, which I don't think is wise at all. They're showing off their gold bars. I don't think that's wise either, right? And their little safes at their home. Dangerous activity, by the way, to be showing that, because people will come and get you. But anyway, they're doing that, and it's the same audience that goes and they're partying as well. You know, they're at the clubs and things like that. And no one blinks an eye. All the countries still are trading gold. They're not going to turn away from gold. Listen, it's about value, making value. It's about, they claim Bitcoin is a safe haven asset, right? So let's play that game. Okay, well, it's about having access to a very powerful safe haven asset, a very powerful moneymaker. And then the narrative doesn't matter when you're going to take over and dominate it. If you're going to take something over, then what does it matter what Bob is doing down the street if I'm about to buy the whole block? I'm about to own the street. I'm about to own the block. It doesn't matter what he does, what he does or what he did. It doesn't make a difference. It's mine now. So henceforth, going forward, I'm going to control what people believe about this asset. The governments and the banks know that. They know that. Who is going to keep away are anybody that's retail. Old-minded retail will stay away and say, oh, Bitcoin, I don't take it serious. Oh, more money for us. Okay, and where's the problem? Oh, Bitcoin, it doesn't have intrinsic value. Oh, it's just a young people's coin, which is ridiculous. Okay, more money for us. That's who is going to keep out, not any government. The government does not care about things like that at all. That's what I've seen. They're going to take over. They're going to dominate it. So what difference does it make a narrative that wasn't made by them when they're in the business of controlling narratives? That's how I look at that. No, I don't know why. To each his own. To each his own. Everybody has their opinion. But if they do, let's say they don't decide to buy Bitcoin, which I find that hard to believe, considering the energy of the U.S. right now, where everybody from top to bottom, from top to bottom, seems to be wanting to make a lot of capital, and they need it, by the way. They need it. From top to bottom, they're all hurting for value and power. They want it, they need it, they got to have it, and they're coming for it. I don't see them leaving anything off the table because of something superficial, something facile like this. Not at all. Not at all. But let's scroll down and read a little bit more. I want to get in there. I have 2 more articles, actually. You know what's wild? I was so tired earlier, folks. Oh, man, it's been tough. And I was saying to myself, I want to get this video done. I don't want to feel like I gave up in the day or I'm a failure in the day. Like if I don't accomplish what I set out to do, I don't feel good. But once I start, I'm talking here to you all. It's like my energy came up. My energy is up now. I feel good. I feel good. That ever happened to you? Once you get into the process of doing something, you just kind of wake up. So now, let's continue on. BitMEX co-founder Arthur Hayes says the United States is unlikely to add more Bitcoin. I mean, I also question a lot of people. Like, are you saying this to sort of put it in the minds of other people and bring them down a little bit? So, because people are very emotional and they become very negative on Bitcoin, like, oh, woe is me, the government is not going to buy. That's my woe is me. Woe is me, the government is not going to buy Bitcoin, so I won't buy Bitcoin. And so it keeps Bitcoin's price a little bit more tame longer, and then these bigger companies, big money individuals can buy more Bitcoin at a lower price for just a tad bit longer, knowing that Bitcoin's going to explode. I mean, I question that when I hear people speak like this, given all of the different catalysts. And with Bitcoin, there's many big ones. So it says, so I want to move on from this article here, but interesting article nonetheless. So now let's go here. I don't know why it does that. Sometimes I go to an article and it starts me at the middle of the page. Does that happen to you? Instead of starting me at the top. And I think it's because of how they're setting up their ads on the website. It just wants to take me to this particular ad and it's in the middle. Just my guess. Okay, so now this article says this. Billionaire Draper predicts Bitcoin price could surge to infinity. All right, so he's he's a little overly excited. I'm not mad at him at all for that. He better not be on social media. They're coming for him for you to say something like this. Yeah, people don't tend to like that. They don't like overzealous. We used to use that word a long time in old school, overzealous. I remember learning that in school, and we couldn't let go of that word. Overzealous. You're overzealous. But anyway, it's such an overzealous prediction. It says here, forget about $1 million Bitcoin price predictions. One of the most prominent venture capitalists thinks Bitcoin is heading to infinity. Come on now. You have to be more erudite than that to believe. He's trying to convey a message. It's like when someone tells you an allegory or something like that. You don't take the allegory literally. It's supposed to convey the energy that he feels that this thing has a massive amount of potentiality. That's how I take it. We haven't even gotten past $200,000 to say infinite. Is like, come on now. I mean, does it have infinite amount of catalysts? I don't think so. I don't know how high Bitcoin is going to go. I do believe that it's going to go way beyond 125, 150,000. Those were my numbers. It probably is going to go past 200,000, but I don't know how high it's going to go. But I understand the energy of which this person is trying to convey. It says in a recent social media post, oh, he did it on social media. Oh, you. Yeah, but see, at the same time, he doesn't have to deal with any type of backlash or people coming at him for those predictions. Like, you're just a permabull. You're too bullish. You know how people do, because he has a team. These people have teams that go through their comments. They go through their stuff. They don't ever have to see that. Anyway, so they can say what they want, right? With no repercussions. It says legendary venture capitalist Tim Draper has predicted that Bitcoin might be heading to infinity against the US dollar. I think he's going to do well. According to the American billionaire, this could happen in the event of hyperinflation. Here's the thing that I take from this also, is that a lot of these big money people, they realize it's at a point where that information on DLT and how bullish it is out there now. There's no hiding it. There's no denying it. I think that this is the age of the researcher. Some people do light research, some people do heavy research. But nevertheless, there's never been more people doing their own research than right now. So they understand that. So you know what they're doing now? They're like, well, might as well tell them how bullish we are. You know why? Because now that people are doing their own research, they're beginning to trust themselves more than others or external forces. That makes sense? So I think the billionaires and big money people and sometimes even mainstream media understands they can say whatever and the people are not going to believe them. It's like BlackRock. BlackRock can say anything. The people are not going to believe them because the people see them almost as like an adversary. Not everyone, but a lot of people do. So they can say, I believe they can proclaim their bullishness for Bitcoin all they want. It will not move anything. It will not pump anything. They're not the ones to do it. They know it. So I almost feel like it's a game for them to come out. Just my humble opinion. You could disagree. And maybe you feel like this is not significant, but I feel like it is because I need to understand their psychology, the psychology of those who are involved, who do have significant value involved that could move things. They can make the price move. They all sell or they all buy. They can make the price move and they represent a lot of different companies, all of these big money individuals. So now, I think they feel that way. They're very bullish. They finally can say how they truly feel. They held it back for years, knowing that it doesn't matter. No one's going to really listen to them. They will read it and just look over it like, and go back to doing our own research. That makes sense? All right. So now I feel that way. I've thought that for quite some time. And I feel that way. And I think that from talking to so many people and hearing how they speak about legacy system actors, and it doesn't seem like they like them or trust them. So these people know that. They know that. They can't pump anything. So they're like, you know what? They like to stardom. They want to do interviews. They want to be seen. And for the first time, they can speak honestly. So, but no, I don't think he believes it's going to be infinitely going up. He's just trying to say he's very bullish on it. Okay, so we're going to close out with this article here. And hopefully I don't make the video too long. Arizona governor calls crypto an untested investment. Vetoes Bitcoin reserve bill. Wow. I feel for you, Arizona. I'm telling you right now, because all of these states need a little bit of extra value. All of them. They've always needed a little extra value that hopefully they would allocate towards helping the people in that state. You're supposed to benefit the people in that state. It's not about your opinion. When you're a leader, you're supposed to represent and serve your people. The greatest of kings are ones who understand their people and serve their people. They're not ones who build a monument to themselves. They're the ones who are so great that their people built a monument to them, or their people keep their memory alive. But nevertheless, you're supposed to serve your people. Now, untested investment, how is it untested? It's been around for a long time. It's been making value for people from top to bottom. For companies, it's made value. Nations have already sold Bitcoin multiples of times. Even if it was confiscated, they sold Bitcoin and they received a massive amount of value too. I don't know what this person's real reason is for doing that, but it just tells me that maybe, just maybe, this person is very much uninformed and detached from what actually has been, because this doesn't make any sense to me. The bill, Senate Bill 1025, aimed to create a digital assets reserve managed by the state. And they all need it. I don't understand that. Let me scroll down. Bear with me. Arizona will not be investing in Bitcoin. First thing I think when I hear that, more money for everybody else. More money for us. You want to cut yourself out? That's on you. That doesn't hurt anybody but you and your people. That's it. I'm just being, that's 100% honesty. So don't cry later. Oh, we need this from this. And then federal funding is like, it's iffy. You don't know what's going to happen with federal funding right now. So why would you? Bitcoin is not harming anyone. Why would you want to cut your people off from some good Bitcoin value, especially if it's going to skyrocket? BlackRock likes Bitcoin. A lot of major companies, Valkyrie, all these big companies love Bitcoin, but you're like, oh, it's untested. It's all right. So now let's continue on here. See, they're leaving the back door open. It says Arizona will not be investing in Bitcoin, at least not this year. Right. That sounds good. We're not going to invest. It sounds good. You're going to probably get in later. You're going to want some of that value. Governor Katie Hobbs vetoed a bill on Friday that would have allowed the state to hold the digital asset as part of its official services. That is wild. So it made it all the way to that person's desk, right? Which means that there must have been majority support for it, only for the governor to be like, no. Whoa. Whoa. See, this is why I don't like traditional systems like this. I don't. It's like it always ends up where one person has way too much power, and it doesn't change for a long time. We've been dealing with these systems for a very long time. When is there going to be a significant update that's positive by the people and made by the people? I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm looking at that wrong. This is why I don't try. I try not to like even see what these individuals do most of the time. It can be quite frustrating. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.